All right, so I'm going to be talking about the successful Wheelie archetype. Listen, I can teach a rider how to become successful without the bike. The bike is the last thing that really matters. It's more about what's going on in the rider's mind, how they think. That's really it is how you think. That's what it boils down to. So if you're thinking correctly, everything else just follows suit. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to be talking about the successful archetype. All right, I'm going to be describing how this person is, how this person thinks. As far as like a rider who has full control, who becomes elite, who dominates the machine, who's well respected, who pretty much can do whatever they want to do on the bike. Like, I've gotten to a point where I can do whatever I want to do on the bike. Am I doing everything on the face of the earth? No. But I know if there's something that I want to learn or accomplish, I can do it. I know exactly what is required. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've also built myself to where it's like everything that I really wanted to do, I can do. Anything else is extra. You know what I'm saying? I get on my bike, I want to be able to do a stoppie, I want to be able to drift, I want to be able to drop back, I want to be able to scrape, I want to be able to do a no-hander. You know what I'm saying? You have things in your mind right now that, man, I wish I could do that. Man, if I could just do this, this, and this, that would be a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what you want to obtain. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be the world's most versatile stunt rider in the whole world. Like, bro, like, it's infinite how many things you can do on the bike. So just focus on the few things that matters to you most. Like, man, if I could do that, whew, I would be the man. Like, man, I would feel so good about my riding and in general. So, you know, it's a certain personality type. Well, I don't want to say a personality type. I want to say there's a there's a certain archetype. You know what I'm saying? This person acts in a certain way. They have certain behaviors and certain habits that allow them to actually make these dreams come true. And that's what I'm going to describe in this video. I'm not going to lean so much into, oh, if you do it like this, then you'll never get there. Like, I'm not going to focus on what not to do as much as I'm going to focus on the person, describing the person, the rider. Now, this rider, he just thinks about the bike all the time. If you think about the bike all the time, that's one of the biggest parts. Always catch yourself daydreaming about riding, always daydreaming about doing wheelies. You know what I'm saying? This person has a screensaver of themselves doing a wheelie or their dream bike or something because it's just on their mind so much that they saved it as their wallpaper. I noticed that I was doing it. I noticed a lot of riders that were very successful, they would have themselves doing a wheelie as their screensaver. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a symbol of how focused they are on having that outcome. Like, if this dominates your mind, if this is the thing that you think about most, your mind is going to find a way to bring it to you. It doesn't matter how difficult it seems, how far away it seems. If it's your dominating thoughts, it will become true for you. It's just what it is. So that's one of the traits of this archetype. This rider that has full control, they're elite. They're way above average. They can pretty much obtain anything they want to obtain on a motorcycle. This is the archetype. They think about it 99% of the time. You know what I'm saying? You will hear them making motorcycle sounds. Burr, 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 burr. When they're by themselves, they're visualizing, rehearsing, going through the motions, acting like, pretending like they're riding. It's almost like when boxers, they shadow box. They're not in the ring. They're not fighting. But when they're by themselves, they just trying to stay sharp. Stay fresh, and that's what creates the fighter into a champion. Is that they think about it all the time, whether they're on or off, they're still on. Like you could be off the bike, but you're still on the bike mentally. Um, this person is consistent. Like, life is always happening. Things are coming up. But this person, he just finds a way to get his time in. He finds a way to ride the bike. It's raining. He finds a way to, when the rain breaks for 30 minutes, the rain breaks for an hour. He figures out how to get a little bit of practice in while, what I'm saying? Or he might just ride in the rain. He figures out a way to overcome life's obstacles, because there's always going to be something that is separating you from riding a bike. There's always going to be something trying to get in between you and your practice time. Now, that person who's really committed, they find a way to get that practice in, even if it's only for 10, like even if there was days where I was practicing, I was in a really heavy training arc. Bro, I would do a wheelie down the block 2, 3 times, park the bike. It counted. I showed up on that particular day, and it makes all the difference in the world. You go 2, 3, 4 days without riding, you get back on the bike, you're like, oh man, what happened to all my skills? It's like, bro, like I lost it. I lost my groove. I got to find my groove again. So just like being consistent, showing up every single day, you're constantly progressing, and you're not losing that groove that you find. It takes a lot of effort to find a groove. You got to hammer and hammer and hammer away so you can create a groove. And if you take a break, it starts to just glaze over, and you got to hammer it again to find that groove again. So, just, it don't got to be, you don't got to practice 8 hours a day every single day, but show up as much as you can. Like, try not to miss. And that will shoot your growth through the freaking roof, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of archetype that really sees success, man. They're consistent. Hey, look, bro, even if it's 5 minutes, I'll take that 5 minutes. Even if it's 10 minutes, I'll take that 10 minutes. I only got an hour today, I'm going to take that hour. You know what I mean? This archetype, man, they might not have the prettiest bike. It might be falling apart because they practice so daggone much. But they keep that thing together. They keep it running. They do whatever they got to do. They learn how to do this. If they don't know how to do something, they learn how to do it. These people, these riders that get really successful on a motorcycle, they're not relying on a mechanic. I'm telling you right now. Very simple. Something simple like a fuse blows out. A freaking fuse. And you got to take your bike to a shop because you don't know how to change a fuse. You don't know how to do an oil change. You don't know how to tighten up your loose chain. You got to take your bike to a shop, drop it off. He got the bike sitting in his shop for a week because he got other bikes in the queue before you, so he can't look at your bike right away. Then he gets around, looks at it for 30 minutes, tells you what's wrong. Then he's like, okay, I got to order this part. I got to order that part. So you waiting again another 2, 3 weeks. Then the parts finally come in. Oh, it's the wrong part. We got to reorder again. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you are losing so much practice, so much momentum because you're waiting and you're dependent on a mechanic. Not only is the wait time messing you up, he's going to tax you. You're going to pay for the parts. You're going to pay for him to do it. How many times can you do that? How many times can you wait with your bike in the shop? Bro, like, you will never get good that way. I'm talking about like what could have took you 2, 3 months would take you years because you're dependent and you're handicapped. You don't know your bike. You gotta depend on the mechanic. You don't know your bike, so like you're not gonna be that good of a rider. You're not that in tune because you don't know nothing about your machine. So, the archetype that says, I don't know nothing about a motorcycle, but I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna take this bike apart. I'm gonna do research. I'm I'm gonna ask questions. I'm gonna call up a few mechanics and ask them what they think. I'm gonna pick their brains, and then I'm gonna get the owner manual for my bike, and I'm gonna look at the diagram. I'm gonna look up YouTube videos. I'm gonna figure out how this thing works and like make myself more inclined. I'm gonna dedicate myself. You know what I'm saying? When it's like, man, there's been times where I got into a situation where it's like, bro, I have no idea what to do about this bike. And the only thing that saved me was persistence. I've had troubles with my bike for like a month, a span of 4 months. I battled with a problem for 4 months straight. And I would call like I wanted to tap out many times. Matter of fact, I did tap out. I called a mechanic. I took my bike to the shop. They said it was fixed. A couple weeks later, the same problem showed up again. They didn't fix it. They thought they fixed it, but they didn't fix it. So that's when I realized, like, really, no one really knows your bike better than you. And in my mind, I was knowing, like, are you sure you fixed it or you think you fixed it? How do you know for sure? And I just took their word for it because, they're the professionals, right? Man, that shit just almost cost me so much. Like, I ended up crashing my bike because the bike had the mechanical failure that they were supposed to fix. The throttle was getting stuck because when I was putting the bike together, a screw dropped down into the air box, into the intakes, and the throttle bodies would get lodged open every once in a while because there was a screw just jiggling around inside, and like I didn't know why my throttle kept getting stuck. Like the bike would just redline by itself, by itself, without me. And I would take the bike apart. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I put the bike back together. I started up. It seems fine. It seems fine. And then it would just jiggle a certain kind of way, and the throttle body would get stuck, and that throttle would be wide open until the screw just kind of just vibrates and falls down again, and the bike will run normal again. And it would just keep happening over that span of 4 months, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the bike. Like I said, I took it to the shop. They didn't know what was wrong with the bike. They thought that the throttle cable was routed incorrectly, so they rerouted the throttle cables, and it's like, it's good now. It wasn't the throttle cable. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it wasn't the throttle cable because, I put the bike together. So I just didn't know what it was, though. But, like, you can't search that type of problem. Like, if you drop a screw inside the airbox and you're looking up what causes a bike to accelerate on its own, you're not going to find anything that tells you that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's just certain problems where it's like you are the best. You're your best option because you know your bike the best. You spend the most time with it. You know what I'm saying? And it just be like that sometimes. Like as far as like learning how to wheelie and getting your practice in, you need to be able to work on your bike and get yourself back in the game as quick as possible, just so you don't lose momentum. Um, you know what I mean? But like, I understand everyone's situation is different. You got to do what's best for you. Let's just say you have a job where you just can't spend that much time working on your bike. Then you need to have like multiple bikes, I guess. You know what I'm saying? One on standby, ready to go. Because your practice is even more critical because you spend most of your time working, right? So your practice time is finite. So you need a working machine all the time where you can alternate something. If you got money, you don't got that much time. If you got a lot of time, you don't have money, you know what I'm saying? Then you have time to work on the bike. It's either or. But if you really want this, then you're gonna have to make the sacrifices, man. That's just what it is. So, like there's many things that allows a rider to be successful. And this video is kind of getting a little bit long, but I only really touched on 2, 3 things, bro. And like, these are things that people really don't think about. But, it goes ways deep. If you want to learn more, you know, about how to become successful on a motorcycle, how to get full control, join the community that I built. It's called 100X Rider. It's designed for sport bike riders who wants to 100 times their current performance on the bike. All right, if you want to reach your potential, you want a roadmap, you want guys that are on the same journey as you know what I'm saying, for encouragement, for support, just to have more fun. I mean, everyone knows that anything is more fun when you do it with other people that have the same mindset, the same beliefs, the same vision, the same goals. Bro, it turns into a party. Like, it doesn't have to be hard in this lonely road where it's like, man, this bike is scary. Shit, be scared with other people. Like, man, we both scared, but we gonna figure this thing out together, man. So much more fun. And that's how I got nice. You know, iron sharpens iron. In the beginning of my journey, I had a friend. We had the same goals, same mission, same desire to learn how to wheelie sport bikes, and we just accelerated so fast because we were just pushing each other. I would learn something, he'd be like, "Oh, I gotta learn it too." He would learn something, I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta learn it too." And it was just this constant upward spiral. And bro, like if you would see each of us today, if you guys seen me ride and you think I'm amazing, look at what he's doing on the bike. You know what I'm saying? It's incredible. You know, it's like, this is the formula. This is the formula, bro. Click the link if you want to see yourself completely transform into a brand new rider, the rider that you admire, the rider that you respect. All right, because that's the biggest thing. Like, yeah, I get a lot of credit from other people. People respect my riding, but most importantly, I respect myself. That's what matters most. Is that you respect yourself as a rider, and you know if you respect yourself, you just saying you respect yourself, you're settling, versus you like, man, I really respect myself, man. I'm out here dropping it back, scraping, like, yeah, this is what I want.